Hey everybody, so here's a garden update. Here we are in the beginning days of June and the blackberry harvest is in full gear. I mean, look at the size of those blackberries. That's like an inch long, even a little bigger. So there's all sorts of different varieties out there, I'll show you. But they're really huge on some of these. And then tomatoes and peppers, I'm starting to pick those. So that's an early harvest here. Let's walk around, see what else is going on. So we're getting rain again. It's rained for the last 2 days. We've had the rainiest May ever recorded here in Texas. So on this side, the onions that I transplanted seem to be so far so good. It looks like they're gonna take and root. The cucumber plant here is growing and trellising up, which is nice. Oh, I'll have to kind of help it trellis though. But the onions I think are going to be okay transplanting in here. Again, I don't have anything planted here yet for since I pulled out the other stuff. My containers, these are the blueberries and gooseberries. So I put them on this side of the house because they get sun but a little bit more shade, and I tried to make the soil a little bit on the acidic side, so hopefully they've got the nutrients and the things that they need, and they don't get, with all this rain, some of that brown spot and stuff. So I'm really on the lookout for, keeping these great and healthy. On this side, the cucumbers are doing really well, but you'll notice that the leaves are starting to get yellowy, and that is because there's something on the bottom of the leaves. It happens all the time if you're not careful here in Texas. Got lots of cucumbers that I'll harvest here, but I gotta give this a little spray, a little neem oil, to kill whatever is that little bug on here. They're like little black spots. I think they're the eggs, and they turn into something, and then they start sucking the life out of the leaves. So I really got to douse that and see if I can't get it going a little bit longer to get some more cucumbers off of it before I replant and put more. The herbs are doing good, but the dill is very sensitive to temperature, and we're getting into the 80s and 90s now, and you can see that the dill is starting to bolt and die back, and we'll just have to pick it and pull it out if it doesn't get back here. That heat just doesn't do well with the dill. Everything else though is looking pretty good. The tarragon that flowered, I didn't know tarragon flowered, but it does. So the herb garden does really well. Some of these other plants here, we gotta make sure we water because I don't have the irrigation system all set up on it yet. This little guy has to be repotted. He's looking a little sickly. My little dwarf banana that I had repotted, he's doing very well. I love that little dwarf banana. It's kind of a funny little plant. The flowers are all coming into their own, spreading out with this rain. The elephant ears are coming up. The dahlias and all my bulbs that I planted finally are all coming up. And they're a little bit slow, some of them. I'm moving some of the rose bushes and pots around here, so my path is blocked. But we got 4 new rose bushes that I planted in the ground. The containers are fine, and I like how I can move it around, but I'm putting them in the ground because they're gonna have the mulch. They're gonna be really good. They'll be permanent little fixtures. So I got some rose bushes that I planted on either side, and I'm gonna move these pots around strategically. That's a pineapple that grows really well in the summer around here, but you gotta take it in, it'll freeze. It doesn't like cold. There's some other little bulbs, I forget what they're called, but they're coming up here too, finally breaking the soil. Here's one here. Not all of the bulbs that I planted there are coming up, but I guess that's to be expected. Of course, on this side it's doing really well. You can see all the plants are breaking the soil. They're coming up, the lilies, the dahlias, the ones that we have from bulb. They're, I want to say almost 100% because some of them are finally coming up, just a little slower than others. Back there, the kiwi, that's the one kiwi plant that's vining up, and now the other one looks like it caught and it's starting to vine up too. So they need a pollinator, that's why I have 2 of them there. The artichokes are doing well. They love heat. They're kind of a desert thing if you ask me. The citrus plants and fruit trees here, they're doing well in our containers. They seem to be hanging in there. We've had some winds. Looks like it snapped that little end of that off. They're doing good. This little persimmon tree there, I have to get him out of this pot. He needs either a permanent location or a better pot. The lemongrass is growing well. 2 lemongrasses, and this is the apricot tree that seems to be doing very well. My container ghost peppers and eggplant are doing well. They're getting bigger and stronger, which I like, and keeping the bugs off of them. I like this guy here that's a ghost pepper and a ground cherry together in one pot. I'm probably going to move some of these over to some empty space along the back there. Give them something to trellis on a little bit for the ground cherry. They kind of need it, and they need, I think, a little shade too, which I don't really maybe have enough of for some of those plants. There's some more of the artichoke and cardoons doing well, and those melons that I planted back there, I think they're starting to get bigger. That seems like they're doing well. They're going to hopefully trellis up that trellis, or at least I'm going to make them to. These tomatoes, I got to get trellised up a little bit. They're doing well. They got some nice tomatoes there. I got to trellis them up. The eggplant doing well, although something might be nibbling on those leaves. But yeah, I have to kind of hopefully trellis that up. There's so much to do, and I'm just getting a little behind. But I want to stake them up so that they're not flopping over so much. And plus, they kind of give a little bit of shade to the melons back there, so they'll probably get more sun once I trellis them up, and everybody can get what they need. This side of the tomatoes are doing well too. The plants are strong, but I just got to trellis them up a little better. It's just kind of bad on my part. All right, so let's stop this here, and we'll have part 2 of the garden update, but at least you kind of see this side what's going on, which is a lot of growth. All right, we'll talk to you here in part 2.